Minister, thanks for being here today. I have a lot of questions, but first, I know you probably saw Minister Duclos and Minister Anand's press conference on fraud yesterday. Has Mark talked to you about fraud at Health Canada?
I am aware that they are looking into those allegations.
So you're aware of some investigations mentioned yesterday pertain to Health Canada?
I know that there are investigations that are ongoing.
Okay. So are any of the new 5 to 10 cases being examined from your department?
At this point in time, I am not aware that they are.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you. There are investigations underway that involve PHAC.
PHAC also crosses not just my department, but Minister Homan's.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Minister, is diversion illegal?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Minister, is London Intercommunity Health Centre receiving funding through SUAP this fiscal year?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Minister, have you read the new letter from 72 BC-based addictions doctors blasting so-called safe supply?
I have read the letter, and I have met with many of the experts
Okay.
and physicians with regards to safe supply.
Thank you. Mr. When Dr. Sarita was here the last time, she mentioned that she admitted knowing that some of her prescriptions get diverted. Question, why is her clinic still receiving funds, taxpayer funds?
Thank you for the question, and as I've said in this committee before, I take diversion very seriously, as do all of our department, and at that time we asked officials to thoroughly review the protocols of all of our 21
Okay,
safe
so
supply
has the funding been
projects.
cut off? Your testimony just prior to that was that she is still receiving funds. Her clinic is still receiving funds. Taxpayer funds that are going to, what you said, to a clinic that is prescribing safe supply, that they know, the prescribers know, some of it is being diverted.
So overall, across Canada, diversion is not something new. We know that there are low levels of diversion.
Do you
that
have the
do happen.
evidence?
The
Do you have evidence
RCMP has
regarding-
provided thorough information on their position on diversion. Are you referring specifically to a nationwide lens or specifically to
Is there a
that one
nationwide
project?
lens? Like, is there evidence nationwide with respect to safe supply
The
and
RCMP
diversion?
has said that there is no evidence of widespread diversion of drugs from prescribed
Well,
alternatives.
that's interesting. That's interesting because just last week, you're probably aware of it as well, too. There was a large bust in my home community of Prince George where the local officers and local leaders, RCMP leaders on the ground there that said there is widespread evidence and that it is taking place in our small rural communities. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that, and I'm also aware that Assistant Commissioner John Brewer at the top Mountie in BC said that notable quantities of prescription drugs were seized, but there's currently no evidence to support widespread diversion of safe supply drugs in the illicit market in BC or in Canada.
So are the frontline officers that are actually on the ground making these arrests, are you saying that they're lying?
I'm saying that the data is showing us from drug analysis seizures over the past 10 years, including when the Conservative government was in power, that there's been no increase in diversion of hydromorphone over the last 10 years based on the samples.
So there was no.
So from your previous government's administration until now, there's been no change.
How long has the SUAP program been in place?
Pardon me?
How long
The
is
SUAP
this?
program is ongoing, and the next round of funding will be for the next 2 years.
Okay. Minister, how much, so prescribed safe supply has been, your government launched a program, spent about $700 million on that, almost $1 billion. What work did PHAC do prior to, or your department do prior to launching that to study the evidence that safe supply was indeed safe?
So I've just returned from Vienna, where I was at the UN Drug Commission meeting with counterparts such as Switzerland, Portugal, and many other countries who have long-standing evidence of the importance and value of
But I didn't ask
prescriber
that. I
alternatives.
asked what work
So
was
there's
done
ample
prior to.
I'm answering your question. You've
But you,
asked
no,
what
you're saying that
evidence-
you attended. What work was done prior to, by your department, prior to launching that? That was my question.
We are relying on evidence of other jurisdictions to begin our evaluation
Is it-
of what would work
Is it
here.
scientific evidence or is it
Absolutely.
anecdotal evidence?
No, it is not anecdotal evidence. Switzerland has a long-standing prescriber.
Because it's
prescriber
interesting. So
model.
are the 72 doctors and indeed the other 42 leading addictions specialists, are they lying when they say there's no scientific data beyond 7 weeks at the 1 week mortality rate? With Safe Supply?
I reject the premise that anyone is lying. As I said in my opening remarks, we value the opinions of experts, those with living experience, and clinicians, and we include all of them in our contemplations and deliberations.
One question, Minister. Can you table with this committee the work that was done prior to the evaluation, the long-term evaluation that the department did prior to launching the prescribed Safe Supply, taxpayer-funded Safe Supply?
I'll pass it to ADM Costins, who was a key policy participant in the program.
Thanks for the question.